Much. Joining us now to help understand it all, former federal prosecutor Renato Mariotti, host of the On Topic podcast. Renato, good to have you on this morning.
Thank you.
So the big question here is why? Why this change now? Based on your experience, what would an attorney general need to make this change, or to feel they have the goods to make this change from a civil to a criminal prosecution? And might that include a cooperating witness?
Yeah, it very well might. They're going to need evidence of intent to defraud. That's really the dividing line that makes it difficult to prove a fraud case, something like this. In other words, not just that there may have been some recklessness or even some false statements that were made to lenders, for example, as Kara was talking about a moment ago, but that somebody intended to trick the lenders, somebody intended to fool them to get their money. And in this case, because they're investigating the Trump organization, it's going to be somebody high up in that organization who they think was, had some responsibility for the organization as a whole, whether it's Weisselberg or one of the Trumps potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Play this out for us, Renato, in terms of being able to depose the former president. I mean, you can, as we saw in Clinton, depose a sitting president, but what do you think that this will lead to Trump talking to them?
I think this is going to lead to Trump refusing to talk to them. If he has any sense, or his attorneys have any sense, pretty much the last thing you would want if I was representing Donald Trump would be to have him raise his right hand and take an oath and swear to tell the truth. So I think they will decline and, they'll come up with some reason for it, but essentially he'll be taking the fifth.
Okay. You made a good point this morning, I thought, on Twitter, that simply announcing that a business is under criminal investigation has immediate consequences, practically, for that business, in this case, the Trump organization. What are those in your experience?
Yeah, I will tell you, I represent clients now, and this is something I have to navigate all the time. If you're under criminal investigation, now whenever you seek a loan or have any kind of transaction, you have to disclose to the other side this criminal investigation. So if somebody's lending you money, if somebody's investing, if you're going to make a sale, anything, you have to tell them, hey, we're under a criminal investigation. Here is what we understand the scope of that investigation to be. Here are the risks. Here are the problems. If you don't, you might be engaging in further fraud by selling off some, part of your business without telling them that they're buying some potential risk. So it really makes it hard to do things. Employees want to leave. Sometimes they don't want to be part of it. They don't like the hassle. It can have very significant consequences.
Yeah, interesting.
What is the difference that people at home need to understand, Renato, when it comes to changing this to a criminal probe of the Trump organization versus a criminal probe of individuals?
Well, it's very interesting. Obviously, any sort of criminal charge against an organization has an effect on individuals, right? So there are shareholders and employees who are going to be impacted. I mean, here it's not obviously a publicly traded company, but nonetheless, everybody who has a stake in this could be impacted. But more importantly, I would just say is the fact that it's an investigation of a company doesn't mean that individuals are off the hook. In fact, prosecutors usually prefer charging individuals to corporations because you can't throw a corporation in prison. And so really, I think everybody who's in the senior management of the Trump organization or has been during the relevant period has to be really concerned.
Yeah, understood. One more question just in terms of timeline here, because we've seen, and I'm sure folks at home have seen a lot of investigations of this president that go on and don't seem to get anywhere, right? Now this one more serious because it began with the Manhattan DA, and that's that's made a lot of progress, it seems. But do we have a sense of when we'll get an answer as to whether this leads to charges?
I don't think so. We are in a situation where the former president can no longer use his office to try to delay things, but nonetheless, as I tell clients all the time, criminal investigations take a long time and they can drag on for months or even years.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renato Mariotti.